In this video, I'm going to talk about CIS30A Lab for Exercise 3. And in this exercise, we are writing a Python program to prompt the user to enter his or her name. And we need to use assert to validate the name that is alphabetic and raise an exception when the user inputs numbers or anything outside of the text. So after we're done, we need to provide screen capture of script and output. So to explain this program, what we can do is we would have a try, and inside the try we would have a variable called name, and we would ask the user to enter the name using input method. Nested in the try, we would have an assert. And for the assert, we wanted to check to make sure that the name is alphabetic. So we would use the isAlpha method to verify that the name is alphabetic. Now, if they enter the name that's alphabetic, it's going to move on and it's going to print the name that the user entered, and it's going to say thank you. If they didn't enter the name in alphabetic, it's going to get to the except right here, and it's going to manually raise a value error, because if they key in a number, it's going to cause, we're going to raise the value error, and it's going to say you did not enter the correct name. And under the except, we want to have the else statement, so that because we're using assert here, we wanted to check for the condition that is alphabetic. And if it is, if this is true, then it's going to move over here and it's going to print the name that the user entered. And finally is going to take place regardless. So finally is going to print thank you, whether we have the correct name or not. So we're going to go ahead and run this program. And I'm going to go ahead and enter my name. And as you can see, it ran, the program is ran, and I entered the name, and the name is alphabetic, and it shows my name that I entered, and thank you. Now let's say if we rerun this program, and we're going to go ahead and put in B3 with the letter and a number, and then so what will happen is we still have the thank you from the finally built-in method, but since it is number and letter, it's gonna cause the error. So we had the raise error here where it shows raise value error, and that shows in our traceback message. It says raise add value error. You did not enter the correct name, and the error also showed the string that we included in our program. So again, just to rerun this through, we have a try. We have a variable that stores a username input. We wanted to check if it's alphabetic, so we have to apply assert to verify the condition. If the condition is met, it's going to move on to the else and print out the username. If it's not met, if it's not alphabetic, it's going to cause the exception to be raised, and we want it to be a value error because that's a type of error if it's not the proper type that the user has entered. And then we wanted to give them a message. After that, lastly, we have a finally statement which prints thank you regardless whether the error occurs or not. And this concludes my program, which is Lab 4 Exercise 3 for CIS30A.